All right, beautiful people. Beautiful people, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome to today's stream. Let's send out some notifications over to the Discord chat as we always try to remember to do. Let's see. Send out a few of those notifications there. I'm also going to drop the link to the Discord in the live chat. I'll try to remember to do that several times today, guys. If you are not on the Discord, you are missing out. Not only is it a fun place to be where you can chat and make friends, but I know that YouTube notification bell doesn't always work out for a lot of people most of the time. So if you want to make sure that you never miss another live stream while it's happening, join us over on the Discord chat. I try to always, always, always remember to send out live notifications to the Discord chat. So let's see. I'm going to drop that Discord link in there. It's completely free to join, by the way. How's everybody doing today? Margaret, what's up? Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome everybody. What's up, PJ? How you doing, dude? What's up, Gina? Welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the stream. Last night I made a few changes, as you can probably tell by looking at your screen here. I've changed the font around from that really ugly digital font. I don't know why I ever thought that was a good idea to use. I'm so much happier with what we've got going on screen now. But a few things have changed, but not really. It's pretty much all in the same order. Elliot, what's up, dude? What's up, Blake? Welcome, guys. Welcome. So today, anxiety. You will surprise yourself if you stick to acceptance. That was what we're going to be talking about today. You know I would come back soon. What's up, Sean? Welcome, dude. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. Welcome, welcome. We're going to be talking about anxiety. You will surprise yourself, right? You will surprise yourself if you stick to acceptance. Okay, we're going to talk about, it's mostly going to be a stream about the ups and downs of recovery. It's going to be a stream about those moments where you're really unsure of yourself. It's going to be a stream about how you don't believe that change is possible, right? Because when you first come into acceptance, you know, you're probably not going to come into it being the most confident person in the world. You're probably not going to come into it with the highest of hopes. You're probably not going to come into it believing that true change is possible for you. So we're going to be talking today about how you will surprise yourself, right? If you stick to acceptance. We're also going to be talking a little bit about how you don't have to be the most confident person in the world coming into this thing, right? You just got to stick to that acceptance. I can't wait to be surprised. You're about to be surprised, dude, if you stick to it. If you stick to it, right? That's the thing. The advice is only as good as your willingness to use it. So that is what we're going to be talking about today, guys. I'm hoping we're going to have a good stream tonight. As far as any updates about me goes and my personal life, we're still fairly it's still fairly early, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's still fairly early. There's not a whole lot to report today. I'm just getting little things done here and there and just trying to stay on track and make sure we get done what we need to get done. So not a whole lot new to report from my end, but I hope everyone in chat is doing great. And, as we move along here and new developments start to pop up, I will be sure to try and keep you guys in the loop, right? So it seems that every day brings a new obsession for me, whether good or bad. Today I spent all day researching how to get the best picture out of my retro video games, but it costs so much I'm obsessed. Well, there's nothing wrong necessarily with being obsessed about a topic that you're passionate about, right? Obsession itself is not necessarily a bad thing. It depends on what you're obsessing about. So the fact that you spent all day trying to find a good way to capture pictures of your retro video games, I would say that's a success compared to spending all day obsessing about anxiety, right? So I wouldn't beat myself up over that. If you look for the surprise, you probably won't get no surprise, but more anxiety if you're just looking for it. You're right, PJ. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, how you probably won't be the most confident person in the world going into acceptance. You probably won't believe in yourself, and you probably won't even believe in the process. But we're going to talk about how you will surprise yourself in the end if you stick to that acceptance. By the way, I know what it feels to have loss of your grandpa. I didn't meet mine ever, so you should be grateful you did spend time with him, a lot of good memories. Yeah, dude. Yeah, exactly. I'm grateful for all the good memories. I'm grateful for all the time that we spent together. It was awesome. I pretty much grew up here, right? Like that, by choice. I wasn't like forced to grow up here or anything. But by choice, I kind of just gravitated towards my grandparents' house, like naturally. I was always, I was always that one kid that just loved to be at his grandparents' house. So absolutely. I'm extremely grateful for all of the good memories that I have with my grandfather and my grandmother, right? So I'm extremely grateful for that, and I do miss them dearly, but I am grateful for it. I'll get it done slowly but surely. Hey, we're going to talk about it today, dude. We're going to talk about it. We're going to give it maybe another minute before we get going. We've already got a really good handful of people in here tonight. How's everybody doing? I see the numbers. We've got quite a few people in here tonight. Why's nobody saying hello? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Get into the chat, man. Let me know what's up. Talk to me, chat. Talk to me. All right, guys. We're gonna get going. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. We're gonna get going. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. All right. All right, chat. Buckle up, because we're about to get going. We're about to get going. Before we officially get started, guys, make sure you check Vacate Fear out, aka Mawa, on both Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We've got all that good stuff. How's everybody doing in chat? Doing okay. We got everybody to quit being shy there. Welcome, guys. Mickey, what's up? Nerd, what's up? That I think that's another language. I don't even know what that means. Gina, what's up? Welcome. Welcome, everybody. All right, guys, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to today's stream. I hope you enjoy it. Anxiety. You will surprise yourself if you stick to acceptance. Now, if you're new here, this is your sign to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. So, as we were just talking about, and let me go ahead, I remembered to do it. Boom, this disappears because we have officially gotten started. That just helps people when they have to watch the streams in the future. Okay, anxiety. You will surprise yourself if you stick to acceptance. Now, when you first hear about acceptance, right, it sounds like sunshine and rainbows. You're like, man, I found something to get rid of my anxiety. We don't want you to come into it with that attitude. Recovery is the end goal, yes, but we want you to come into acceptance not with an attitude of, I can get rid of my anxiety, but with an attitude of, I can learn to allow my anxiety, right? And in time, the body and mind will heal. So that's the attitude we want you to come into it with. But a lot of people, when they first come into it, they're like, man, I found something to get rid of my anxiety. And then when that doesn't necessarily happen overnight, right, they catch that second fear. What is second fear? It's all the negativity that you entertain about your thoughts and feelings instead of practicing that attitude of so be it. It is what it is. That's second fear in a nutshell. So a lot of people when they come into it, I've finally found something to learn how to deal with my anxiety, and they start practicing not adding that second fear, and they're not getting those instant results, right? The anxiety's still there. Sometimes it even builds. The thoughts are still there. Sometimes they even scream a little bit louder, right? So people get discouraged very easily. So a lot of people that come into acceptance are not coming into it with the most confidence in the world, and that's okay. A lot of people that come into acceptance, they're not coming into it with the highest hopes in the world. That's okay too. All of this is okay. But the main point of the stream is, as long as you stick to that acceptance, you're going to surprise yourself. As long as you stick to acceptance and practicing acceptance, no matter how confident you feel or don't feel, no matter how high your hopes are or how low, as long as you stick to acceptance, you're going to surprise yourself in the end. And what I mean by that is, right, you might be sitting there right now, and this is big, this is crucial, this is important, listen up. You might be sitting there right now thinking, there is no way, Wonder Bro, that these thoughts that have been triggering me for years, these reoccurring themes of fear, there is no way I'll ever be able to stop doing these compulsions, these rituals. There is no way that these thoughts will ever stop triggering me. They've triggered me for so long. They're some of my biggest fears, yada, yada, yada. right? I know a lot of you sitting there right now might be thinking that. You might be thinking there is no way the things that scare me so much today are ever going to stop causing this reaction. There is no way these things that are triggering me now, because they're just so important to me. I've been entertaining them for so long. There is no way that they're just going to fade. There is no way that my body is going to stop reacting to these irrational thoughts, right? There's no way that it's going to happen, Wonder Bro. And I know some of you might be thinking that. Okay, but you will surprise yourself if you stick with acceptance. Now, I got a perfect example to give you. Me personally, I had a ton of irrational, intrusive thoughts that I entertained for a very long time, even after I knew about acceptance, because I wasn't using it, right? And in my mind, there was plenty of days and plenty of nights and plenty of afternoons where I would sit around and I would think to myself, these thoughts, man, they've been here for so long. They've triggered me for so long. These are some of my biggest fears now. There is no way that I'm ever going to get out of the hold of these things, right? They've just got a grip around me, around my throat so tight. There is no way that these things that are going to stop triggering me. What do you mean? They trigger me so hard day after day. There is no way they're going to leave me alone. There's no way they're going to fade. Now, that was the wrong attitude to have, right? Of course, that was the wrong attitude to have, but that's the attitude I had for quite a long time. Now, when it got to the point where I was like, okay, acceptance is the way to go. I got to teach my brain that these thoughts, that these feelings are not real dangers. How do I do that? By stop adding gas to the fire, drop that second fear, right? So I got to the point, and when I finally did get to that point where I was like, it's time. It is time to retrain my brain and take back my life no matter what I might face. When I finally got to that point, no, I wasn't the most confident in the world. I did not have the highest hopes. I did not have that much faith in myself or the process, right? But I made that firm decision. And this is the only, listen up, because this is the only decision that matters, right? I made that firm decision to say, you know what? Enough is enough. Whatever thoughts come, come. Whatever feelings come, come, right? And I'm going to catch myself. If I catch myself adding second fear, I'm going to catch it, and I'm going to practice that accepting attitude regardless of what comes, regardless of what I feel like, regardless if I'm getting instant results or not. I'm going to practice the accepting attitude, whether I believe it or not, whether I shake or not, whether I tremble or not. That is the only important decision that you need to come to. And once you come to that firm decision to do this on a consistent basis, right, day after day. So, once you come to that firm realization and decision that this is the route that you're going to go, does not matter how much confidence you bring to the table. It does not matter how high or low your hopes are. All of this is irrelevant. You are going to surprise yourself in the end. You are going to surprise yourself in the end. And what happens is, as you move on with acceptance, no matter how long it might take, right? That's irrelevant. No matter how long it might take, you're going to have a day, right? And I don't know when that day is coming, but it will come if you continue to practice acceptance. You're going to have a day, or you're going to have some moments, whatever you want to call it, here and there, where you sit back and you think to yourself the opposite of everything I just said earlier about how, oh, this will never leave me alone, blah, blah, blah. You're going to have a moment where you sit back and you say, wow, wow, that same thought that triggered me for 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, it was just here and I wasn't bothered by it. I wasn't, maybe a little bit, but I wasn't really bothered by it. Wow. You're going to have those moments, chat. So the thing is, it's not about how much confidence you bring to the table. It's not about how high or low your hopes are. It's whether or not you make the firm decision to cut out second fear. And if you do make that firm decision and you try to practice that to the best of your ability on a consistent basis, I say best of your ability because I know no one's perfect, right? If you make that choice, you are going to end up surprising yourself. You are going to end up surprising yourself. But here's another thing that I want to include in today's stream that is so important, guys. You have to make that choice for yourself. I can get on here and I can preach to you guys until I'm blue in the face. I can get on here and I can say all this and I can say all that. But when it comes time, when it comes crunch time, when you have those high feelings of anxiety and you have those negative intrusive thoughts, it's going to come down to you. Nobody else. It's not going to come down to me. It's not going to come down to your mom, to your dad, to your brother, to your sister, to your aunt, to your uncle. It's going to come down to you on whether or not you are practicing not adding that second fear in those moments, right? That's going to come down to you. It's going to come down to you whether or not you take those step backs in the moment and catch that second fear and turn it into an accepting attitude, even though you're trembling, even though you're shaking. That's going to come down to you, nobody else. And nobody else is responsible for that but you, right? And until you take responsibility for your own recovery and stop pointing fingers, it's going to be rough. It's going to be bumpy. So, recovery comes down to making that firm choice, that firm decision that no matter what comes my way, even if it doesn't feel like it's working, because it normally doesn't in the process, right? Even though it doesn't feel like it's working, even though I'm shaking, even though I'm trembling, even though I have all these thoughts and feelings, I am doing my best to catch that second fear, which what is second fear? Getting up in your head about these thoughts and feelings. I don't want to feel this, I don't want to feel that. Let me fight with this thought so I can make sure that it doesn't come true, blah, 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 right? It's going to be up to you to catch that. It's going to be up to you to catch that and turn that into something like it is what it is. So be it. Thank you to these thoughts and feelings, but I don't have to get involved. It is what it is. Whatever attitude you want to come up with, as long as it's based in acceptance. Now, it's up to you to do that work. Even though your confidence isn't high, even though your hopes might not be high, even though these feelings are strong, even though these thoughts are strong, yada, 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 we could go on and on and on. It's up to you to make that choice and then stick to it. It's up to you to make that choice and then stick to it and practice it on a daily, consistent basis, despite the way that you feel and the thoughts that you have. Now, some people say, well, that sounds like a lot of work. And I say, well, what's worse, staying in the situation that you're in, or at least giving this thing a try? At least, because what do you have to lose, right? If you wanna get down to the nitty gritty, what do you really have to lose? Right, chat? Like, what do you actually have to lose at the end of the day by practicing acceptance? What do you actually have to lose? Not much. Not much. So it's all about staying on top of yourself, chat. It's all about staying consistent. It's all about staying dedicated to not adding that second fear. And if you do that, just to sum up the main point of today's stream, if you do that, even though you don't have a lot of confidence right now, even though you can't even imagine a day where these things don't trigger you anymore, you will surprise yourself if you do it. You will surprise yourself one day if you do it. Right. So my main point of today's stream, guys, was basically to address those people out there that are not confident, that do not think they'll ever see the day where these things stop triggering them. It's to address all the people out there who think that they're stuck with these triggers for a lifetime. It's to address all those people out there who just can't imagine a life without anxiety, right? So if you stick to acceptance, and that means to allow the thoughts and feelings without adding the second fear. So don't go into it with an attitude of, oh gosh, maybe this will make my anxiety go away. Yes, that is the end goal. Yes, that's what happens during recovery, obviously. But that's not what an accepting attitude is. We want you to practice the accepting attitude, right? The body and mind will heal itself. If you do this, spoiler alert, you're going to surprise yourself one day, right? But don't be on the lookout for that day, because then you run the risk of a non-accepting attitude of, when is this anxiety going to go away, blah blah blah. Wonder Bros done told you that if you stick to acceptance, you're going to surprise yourself. Drop it right there. Drop it right there and start practicing acceptance, all right? You do not want to run the risk of looking over your shoulder all day long, saying things to yourself, when will it go away? If you catch that, that's second fear. Understand that that's second fear, and you need to change that to acceptance, right? So what are the two main keys? Live your life. Let's get you back into life. Let's get your confidence going a little bit. Let's prove to your body and mind that everything is well. And stop fighting with it all. Switch to that accepting attitude. Catch that second fear. Switch to that accepting attitude. All right, you guys, that was the main point of today's stream. Let's get into some comments. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're late here, as always, it will be uploaded to the YouTube channel, assuming YouTube doesn't decide to stiff me on that. I feel it. I have like zero confidence in myself. Not a problem. Not a problem, right? That's not a problem. The only thing that we want you to focus on and be focused on is whether or not you make that decision to use acceptance. So that's really the only thing that you need to be focused on, right? Like, that's it. That's it. Understandable, Sean, but also remember, like, 90% of the suffering does come from the second fear, so it'll get much easier the more you practice not adding that second fear. Keep that in mind too. Keep that in mind too. All right, guys, we're gonna switch to the post stream for a second. Good stream, good stream. I'm happy with today's stream. We need some music that plays specifically on the post stream. If you enjoyed the stream tonight, guys, make sure you hit the like button. If if you enjoyed what you heard, if it was beneficial to you, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. If you'd like to try to contribute to help us hit our tip goal tonight, please feel free to do so. All the information is on screen. I would be very grateful for that. I told you guys I was going to start saying little things like that, and that's only because life's about to get very, very different for me here soon. I'm not annoying about it though. I don't push it too hard. I just, I throw out a little reminder here and there, and that's about it. So I hope no one takes that the wrong way. Um, let's see. Hi, Winterbro and everyone. It's been a long time. What's up, Mia? It has been a long time. How you been? Hope you're doing good. It's okay if the brain is stubborn, Elliot. It's okay. Remember, the feelings and the thoughts aren't the problem. Like, if you think anxiety is the problem, you're going to spend unnecessary amount of time trying to fight the anxiety. The anxiety isn't the problem. Whether or not you're using acceptance is the problem, which comes down to whether or not you're adding that second fear. That's the problem. That's the only problem. The anxiety isn't the problem. The thoughts aren't the problem. That's the only problem. So keep that in mind. That way you're not fighting any unnecessary battles, right? You don't want to be fighting any unnecessary battles when it comes to recovery. You want to keep your goal very clear in your mind, which is no second fear. Now, whatever the mind and body decides to throw at you during the process is not the problem. It's not the issue. It's not what we need to be concerned about. The only thing that we need to be concerned about is whether or not we are adding that second fear. That's the only thing that needs to be of our concern, not what thoughts and feelings come. If you're concerned about what thoughts and feelings might come, you have the wrong concern. You have the wrong concern, right? You are concerned about the wrong thing. Your only concern needs to be whether or not I'm adding that second fear. That's what your concern needs to be. So, hope you're doing well, Mia. Sean over here, man. Sean trying to pick up some ladies in the chat. Hey, you do you. I respect it. Respect the hustle. All right, so how's everybody's day doing? It's good to hear from you guys. The post stream screen is on point today, just like Mia's profile picture. Uh, because it's storming here, man. It's storming here. It's been raining here all day, and it's going to continue to all night. But I love it. I love it. It's my favorite kind of weather. My favorite kind of weather. I think it's relaxing. I'm about to crack open a cold drink here. Wet the whistle. Wet the whistle. There we go. That's good. That is good. Raining in Massachusetts. Massachusetts. I cannot. I cannot say that. Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Why would somebody name something that? Seriously, can we talk about that for a moment? Why? Okay, let's see here. I'm okay because of you, Wonder Bro. Appreciate that, Mia. I hope you enjoy the streams. Hope you continue to enjoy them. How was your day? My day was pretty good. Honestly, it just started not long ago. What normally happens is I'm still on my night out schedule, so I wake up, I do all this shit during the night. I'm looking for places. I'm doing all this and I'm doing all that, and then by the time it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm already exhausted. But there's so much more to do. I just keep going and going until I eventually pass out at like noon. Personally, I don't like drinking drinks out of plastic bottles. Cans are so much better. I do like cans. I do like cans. Massachusetts. Massachusetts. No. No, don't sound right. Don't sound right to me, chap. Massachusetts. It's one of those words. It's one of those words that if you say them often enough, they start to sound weird. You know what I mean? You ever done that? You ever said a word that you've said like a million times in your life, but you really focus on it for a second and it just sounds bizarre? That's one of those words, I believe. Massachusetts. Massachusetts. I'm trying too hard. See, that's the problem. I'm trying too hard. If I would let it happen naturally, it'd be okay. Just trying way too hard. Massachusetts. I can't do it. I can't do it. Alright, I'm going to drop that Discord link again, guys. For anyone who wants to join us over there. Discord link should be in the chat. It is clickable. You can get it on your PC, tablet, phone, yada, yada, yada. They've got an app for that. It's not just a PC thing. No, you're right. You're right, Sean. That's exactly what I'm referring to. You're right. You're right. You're right. I had to accept it, Elliot, which I did. It's up there, but it's a little late. I didn't get around to accepting it quick enough, and it's kind of gotten buried. Yeah, sometimes it'll like automatically hold things. It'll automatically hold things, and if I don't catch it, then they tend to get buried. So, now you're right, PJ. It can kind of feel like a different world, but don't fall for that bluff. You know your only goal, right? You know what your only goal is, and that's as little second fear as possible. Don't be concerned with any other goal or objective. That is your objective. As little second fear as possible. Get on with your life, you know? That is your only goal, that is your only objective, but you're absolutely right. It can feel kind of like a different world when you're in it. Absolutely. It can feel like a different world when you're in it, and then you can't imagine it any other way. Mickey! Mickey, thank you so much for the $10 tip, Mickey. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know that's not actually your name, right? It's just what I call you because I can't pronounce your name. Thank you so much for the $10 tip, Mickey. Thank you, thank you. I really do appreciate it. I want to apologize again that I've had to mention the tip goal. Normally I don't even mention it, and I know you guys are probably sick of hearing me apologize for it, but it's just weird for me, right? I'll get used to it in time. It's just weird for me having to mention the tip goal because I didn't have to before, but now since life is changing so drastically, very, very quickly, I have to mention the tip goal from time to time because the fact of the matter is, I got to keep a roof over my head, and I got to keep food in my stomach. I don't have the support or help that I had before. Now, I'm not talking about you guys. What I'm basically saying is I got a lot more on my plate these days, so I apologize for having to even bring up the tip goal. But it is what it is. I got to do what I got to do. I got to do what I got to do. I promise not to be annoying about it. Uh, you know, can you hear the pain in my voice? I don't like it. I don't like it, chat. Honestly, if I only had the tingling and the fast heartbeat symptoms, I would not care. It's only the painful energy in the solar plexus and the stomach butterflies that get me. Hey, no matter what it is that gets you, whether it's the tingling feeling of the solar plexus in your whatever, um, understand that you still have only one objective, right? Let's keep it clear. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it straightforward. We only have one objective, and that objective is as little second fear as possible. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That is our one objective. To add as little second fear as possible. Our objective is not really to keep account of what thoughts or feelings come. Our objective is not to really, pay too close attention to the context of these anxious thoughts. Our objective is one objective, and that one objective is to add as little second fear as possible. Live your life, right? That's basically the two main keys in a nutshell. So keep your objective very clear in your mind instead of worrying too much about, well, if it wasn't for this or if it wasn't for that, or try to keep your objective as clear and as straightforward in your mind as possible so you don't get wrapped up in thinking other things that are important when they're simply not. when there's simply not. You only have one objective when it comes to recovery. It is not your objective to keep up with these symptoms and to keep up with the context of these thoughts and to map this out and to map that out. You've only got one objective, right? So let's keep it very clear in your mind so you don't risk overcomplicating this thing, so you don't risk confusing yourself unnecessarily. I'm always watching for hope. Watching means not a problem, Derek, because you obviously have to know the advice to use it, and there's nothing wrong with some reminders and sharpening your skills from time to time. So watching me is not the problem. The problem is whether or not you're using what you hear. So if you get off this stream tonight and you're met with anxiety symptoms and thoughts, and you're not putting in the work to take a step back and say, you know what, I accepted, it is what it is, catching that second fear. Sometimes that second fear happens almost automatically, but if you're not putting in the work to catch it and try to switch to an accepting attitude again and again and again and again and again, right? If you're not putting in that work, then watching me is not going to serve you. It's simply not going to serve you because, you know, I can say whatever I want, but if you're not, you know, using acceptance, if you've chose to go the acceptance route and you're not using it, then listening to me talk about it is not going to serve you. It's not going to do anything for you. But with that being said, sometimes it does take time for this acceptance thing to really sink in. You know what I mean? It's not like I learned about acceptance and then was perfect at it overnight. You know, so keep that in mind. You know, sometimes it does take time for this whole acceptance thing to really sink in and to get your teeth into it and actually start to use it on a consistent basis. You know, sometimes that does take time. PJ in chat knows better than anyone not to fall for the whole maybe I'm missing something thing, right? Because you're not. We know what our one objective is, and now it's time to do it. Our one objective is live your life, and as this you catch this automatic, almost it seems automatic second fear, eliminate it. Turn that into an accepting attitude and get on with your day slash night. You know, that is your one objective. PJ in chat knows better than anyone what it feels like to fall into the rabbit hole of maybe I'm doing something wrong or maybe I'm missing something thing. He knows better than anyone that that's a huge illusion, and that once you know your objective, it's time to you know seek out accomplishing that objective day after day after day. So just ask PJ if you want a little lesson in what it feels like uh, to get stuck in the hole. Maybe I'm missing something thing, right? Which is a common thing. It is a common thing. PJ is not the first person to get stuck there. Many, 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 many people get stuck there because the mind is great at wanting to overcomplicate everything. I can put it as simple as possible, which I believe I do, right? I believe I do put it as simple as possible, but the mind is great at grabbing hold of things and making it super complicated. That's what the mind does. So don't fall for that. I got you, PJ. I got you. I was feeling great this past weekend, and I felt terrible the last few days. So we can see your problem right there. Like anyone who's either recovered or understands acceptance to a deep level can see your problem right there just in your comment, right? So I was feeling great this past weekend, and I felt terrible the last few days. So what you're doing is and what you're doing is what a lot of people do. You are basing your recovery on how you feel. So you say, "Oh, I felt terrible these last few days," and then acceptance goes out the freaking window at that point, right? You're back to second fear. Understand that acceptance is not about you feeling okay. We want you to feel bad. We want you to have anxious thoughts. We want you to have anxious feelings. Because here's the thing. People treat acceptance like a pill. Oh, I've had a terrible past few days, so this acceptance thing isn't working. Understand, you do not base your recovery based on the way that you feel. Ever, 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 ever. You never want to base your recovery on the way that you feel, because that's not how this works in any way, shape, or form. How this works is you want to feel anxious, because while these fear pathways are activated, now is your chance to retrain. right? So instead of taking advantage of the last few days where you felt terrible, you fell back into second fear. Oh, I feel so terrible. I don't want to feel this way. It's horrible. I felt so good last weekend, and now here I am. I feel awful again. You have fell back into the habit of second fear because you tried to base recovery on the way that you feel. And we don't want to base recovery on the way that we feel, because when we do that, that's what happens. When we do that, that's what happens. It's not about the way that you feel. Progress is not based on the way that you feel. Progress is based on your one objective, whether or not you're adding second fear, or whether or not you're practicing adding as little second fear as possible, right? That's what you want to base your recovery on. How well did you do that today? Did you add as little second fear as possible, even though you felt like crap? If so, if the answer to that is yes, congrats, you're on the right track. Did you fall back into the bad habits of second fear, saying, oh, I felt so terrible these past few days. Last weekend was so good. I miss how I felt last weekend. If that's what you've been doing, then you've been adding second fear all day, right? So a very easy mistake to make that I believe you have made, which is to try to base recovery off the way that you feel, which is not how acceptance works. This is not how this works at all, because when you do that, you automatically put yourself into the second fear mindset. You're automatically there now. You are automatically in resistance now. So do not ever try to base recovery off the way that you feel. You want to base recovery off of whether or not you are accomplishing your one objective, your one and only objective, which is to add as little second fear as possible, no matter how you feel. Your comfort is irrelevant, right? During the recovery process, your comfort is not relevant to us. We're not trying to make you comfortable, right? So during the recovery process, what we're trying to do is get you to a point where you stop adding as much second fear. That way, this anxiety can come in. It can do whatever the heck it wants. These thoughts can come in. They can do whatever the heck they want. And the whole time, you're not adding as much second fear as you're used to adding. You're practicing adding as little second fear as possible. And what happens is this anxiety comes in, these thoughts come in, they stick around, they cause whatever they want to cause. And then before you know it, I don't know what the timeline will be for you. It's different for everybody. But before you know it, as you practice not adding second fear, right, your body and mind starts to learn that these thoughts and feelings are not dangerous, right? So stop basing recovery off the way that you feel, because that's not how any of this works. Start basing it off of whether or not you're doing your one objective, which is to add as little second fear as possible. And just because you feel like crap doesn't mean anything. It's okay to feel like crap. We want you to feel like crap, because that's when your brain's learning the most. So do not base recovery off the way that you feel. Base recovery off of whether or not you are adding second fear. What is second fear? It's all of the fighting with the thoughts, the fighting with the feelings, yada, yada, yada. Instead, we need to catch that second fear and turn it into something like so be it, or whatever little short, sweet reminder you want to give yourself. On with your day. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's your only objective. Do not base recovery off the way that you feel. I hope that sheds some light on your situation, Derek, because we've all been there. We've all been there. As long as you keep saying, I felt so terrible, blah, 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 this is all second fear, right? This is all basing your recovery off the way that you feel, which never works. Never works. We don't base recovery off the way that we feel, because that's irrelevant. We base recovery off of whether or not we're adding second fear. The body and mind will heal itself. You being concerned with the way that you feel is not your business, right? So keep that in mind, Derek. Continue to practice that acceptance. Your body and mind will heal in time. Stop looking for it. Stop asking yourself, when will it go away? You see what I'm saying? So I hope that sheds some light on your situation, because to be completely honest with you, man, I was exactly where you are with the same mindset that you have now. That was the mindset that I had for a long time. And I'm telling you, I learned the hard way so that you don't have to, right? Let's not worry about the way that we feel. Let's worry about accomplishing our one objective, which is not adding as much second fear. That's your only concern. That needs to be your only concern. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Thoughts are funny, PJ. They tend to be the last thing to kind of fade away, even after they stop triggering you. Like the amygdala learns that these thoughts are not real dangers, blah, blah, blah. They stop triggering you, but the thoughts themselves can linger a bit longer. But if you continue to treat them with acceptance, you'll eventually lose interest. But it's not uncommon for the thoughts to be like one of the last things to go. I meant to come back to the face cam a lot sooner, but I got on a rant there. Thank you for the question, Derek. I love questions that inspire me. I love questions that get me on those little rants. It's good for the entire community. So when you ask your questions that send me off in my little speeches, um, pat yourself on the back because it's good for the whole community to hear it. It's good for the whole community to hear it. So that's why I love those questions, the questions that spark a fire in me. I love them. So thank you for asking them. I appreciate it. PJ used to get me going all the time, dude. All the time. I think he did it on purpose there after a while, but hey, don't try too hard to do anything, Bruno, right? We've talked about present moment living in the past, which is a good little tool, to try to have more of your focus on what you're doing in the real world rather than fighting with your thoughts, right? Obviously. But don't try too hard to do anything. You don't have to be perfect at anything. Your one objective is to add as little second fear as possible. So let's say, oh, well, I can't focus too hard on the present moment. I seem to always get sucked back into my head and I start fighting again. That's okay. Just catch that second fear, change it to acceptance, and get on with your day, right? Right? That's okay. You don't have to be perfect at anything, and you don't want to try too hard to force anything, right? So we've talked about all these little tools in the past, but they all come back to one thing, and that's adding as little second fear as possible, right? Whether it helps you to try to focus more on what's in front of you, or you're just really good at catching that second fear and entering into an attitude of acceptance, or whatever the case may be, despite all the little tools we've talked about here and there, it all comes back to one thing. To keep it as simple and non-confusing as possible, it all comes back to one thing, and that's as little second fear as possible is your main practice, is your main go-to. And during that process, don't try too hard to do anything. Just keep your one objective in mind, your one main objective in mind. And now, what might personally help you get there, so be it. As long as you're adding as little second fear as possible and you're living your life, you're on the right track. You're on the right track. Yeah, guys, make sure you like the stream if you enjoy it. Make sure you give it a like if it's beneficial to you. It really does help the channel grow. We are right around the corner from 10K. Couldn't have done it without you guys, so I really, really, really do appreciate it. I really, really, really do appreciate it. So, a lot of this is about taking responsibility for whether or not you're adding that second fear, man. That's what 99.999% of this is going to come down to, whether or not you're taking responsibility for the fact of, am I adding second fear, am I not adding second fear? That's what a lot of this is going to come down to, right? A lot of this. Absolutely, Bruno. We don't want you to stress or strain yourself too hard trying to accomplish anything, right? We don't want you to stress or strain yourself too hard trying to be quote unquote present. We've talked about the beauty of the present moment many times. Sometimes that's a little bit harder to accomplish than other times, especially for sensitized people. However, if being more present helps you, great. But keep in mind, we don't want to overconfuse anything or overcomplicate anything. You have one objective, and that's to add as little second fear as possible and live your life, right? And if being more present helps with that, great. Or maybe you've just gotten really good at catching second fear and changing to an accepting attitude, great. Um, maybe being present becomes more natural for you as time goes on and your nerves heal, great, right? No matter what little reminders you use or what little, I don't like the word mantras, but whatever little accepting mantras you use, or maybe you're trying to focus more on being present, or whatever the case may be. We've talked about a lot of things here on the channel. Keep in mind, though, that if you don't want to overcomplicate it for yourself, it always comes down to one thing, and that one thing is little second fear, adding as little second fear as possible, catching second fear and turning it into acceptance, even if you don't necessarily believe it, right? There's nearly 10,000 of us. We got this. Yes. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We're gonna keep growing every single day, man. But we can't do that unless you hit subscribe. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds. Hey man, it all helps, dude. It all helps. It all helps. It all helps. The likes, the comments, shares, especially subscribing, every little thing you do to interact with the channel really helps, and I do appreciate it. It really does help, and I do appreciate it, especially now, man. It's crunch time. Life's about to get life's about to get even more real for me, so I'm gonna need you guys as much as you guys need me, and we're just gonna keep on trucking, right? You don't need to believe it, only your brain does, right? Because if you've been, you're safe, and your brain doesn't guess who wins the battle. So, you know, again, it's all about adding as little second fear as possible. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about in the end, man. But you're right in your comment, PJ. When I say that even if you don't believe it, what I mean by that is people base belief off of whether or not they're still scared. So, like someone changes their attitude to acceptance and they say something to themselves like, "Okay, I accept these thoughts and feelings," or whatever, or "so be it," or "it is what it is." They say that and then they're still scared, so they base their belief off of whether or not they're still scared. Now, naturally, you'll probably still be scared if the anxiety is around because that's what anxiety does. But that's not second fear. So don't base your belief off of whether or not your body is still scared, whether or not you're still having these thoughts or feelings, as long as you're not adding second fear, right? First fear is there, and we shouldn't base our belief of acceptance off of whether or not we're experiencing first fear, because you're going to experience first fear. It's out of your control. This is all about not adding second fear. So it can get a bit sticky for some people in that situation. That's why I continue to remind people I try to be as consistent with that as possible, trying to remind people, don't base your recovery off the way that you feel. Use acceptance even though you don't necessarily believe it. That's why I say little things like that, because some people are basing, whether or not they believe acceptance on their first fear, which is out of their control. So that's why I try to be consistent with reminding people of that. That's why I try to be consistent with that as much as possible. 10 years later. 10 years later. It'll be interesting to see where this channel's at in 10 years' time. Why does the brain always have a but what if anytime we argue? Because you're arguing. If you wouldn't argue, the but what if wouldn't come into play. Because when you argue with these thoughts, you give them fuel, right? You gas the fire, and then you give your mind a chance to debate with you. So instead of trying to debate with this expert chess player, which is your mind, right? Don't even give it the opportunity to say, but what if? So the mind says, I'm going to go crazy, right? And you try to argue with it. You try to fight it. And in the process, you're just fueling it. So you try to fight the thought, am I going to go crazy with, no, I won't because here's the statistics behind that. And then your mind says, yeah, but what if? Why not cut out the middleman and not even give it the opportunity to say, yeah, but what if? Why not cut out the middleman? Because you know it's going to hit you with a yeah, but what if, and you know it's going to beat your ass. So instead of giving it the opportunity to say, yeah, but what if, which is going to turn into a very long debate that you're not going to win and you're going to stress your nerves out in the process, why not cut out the middleman and instead of giving your brain the opportunity to say, yeah, but what if, to the thought of I might go crazy or whatever the thought is you're dealing with, why not say, yeah, so be it? Therefore, your mind doesn't even have a chance to debate with you. Now, you can continue to try to debate with the mind, but as you know, it just drags on and on and on. And in the process, it's just second fear, second fear, second fear. You're just beating your nerves up, right? So why not cut out the middleman? And instead of trying to ask the question, what do we do about the yeah, but what if that comes from the mind? Why not, instead of asking that question, we just cut out the middleman altogether and we don't give the mind a chance to say, yeah, but what if? Because we don't get involved in the argument with it. I'm going to drop the mic now and walk away because that's pretty much it. That is it at the end of the day. Whether or not right? Whether or not we're giving the opportunity to the mind to debate with us. If we give the mind the opportunity to debate with us, it will take that opportunity. It will take that opportunity every single time, and it's an expert chess player. It is an expert chess player, and you won't beat it. All that will happen is you will gas these thoughts up, they'll become stronger, and you'll beat your nerves up in the process, right? So again, instead of giving the mind the opportunity to say, yeah, but what if, don't even go there to begin with. Just say, so be it. The mind says you might go crazy. You say, so be it. If you try to debate with it, it's going to say, yeah, but what if? And it's going to continue to say that, right? So instead of giving it that opportunity, let's not even give it that opportunity by acceptance, by using acceptance, right? Bada bing, bada boom. Thank you for that excellent comment, Kung Fu. I appreciate it, dude. That probably helped a lot of people out just now, so pat yourself on the back. I used to have a website, but it's not up anymore. I need to try to get a new one going. I need to try to get a new one going. All right, let's get us some music going, shall we? So we're not doing anything else really. I don't have a source for music on this screen, so we'll get that going in a second. We'll get that going in a second. If anyone wants to help us hit our tip goal tonight, everything that you need is on screen. Also, I want to make a little announcement. There's nothing certain yet. It's not 100%, but I have been dabbling around in the merch side of things. I've been looking into that a little bit. So I don't know. I don't know if that's something we'll get rolling out soon or not, but I'm definitely doing my research. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with that. Ever thought about building a business? I mean, that's kind of what this is. It's like there's a lot of things that can come from the vacate fear name, and I'm trying to branch out and do all that I can with that, right? So there might be exciting things to come in the future. I'm looking into it all. I'm looking into it all, seeing what we can do with it. Obviously, the main concern is going to be growing the actual channel. So, but yeah, I'm looking into all of the little things that I could possibly do with it. There's a lot you could do. There's a lot of different directions you could go, and I'm looking at all my options. I'm looking at all the options carefully, and we'll see what I find. You never know. You never know. Give you pain anywhere else. Why does it have to choose that one specific spot? It's a troll, man. It's a troll. That's what it does. It's a troll. trying to set a source up on this screen so we can get some music on post stream. Alright, let's see here. Shouldn't be too difficult to do. Audio output. Let's see. Not if you know it's anxiety related, PJ. If you've been dealing with anxiety for a long time, you know what's up. I mean, you could go to the ER every time if you can afford that, be my guess. But I don't know. That doesn't sound like something a lot of people could do or should do. Let's see. Why is this not working? I don't know. That's a fan. There's a fan in the background. Remove that. There we go. Alright, I'll have to figure that out later. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that's not working there. I'm not sure. Alright, we'll figure it out later. Can't be too difficult. I worked on it all last night. Still a few little things I need to do. Even face my scariest fears, and it's like the symptoms are less intense. Congrats, keep it up. See, that's the people that make it right there. You got to be willing to feel it to heal it, right? And everybody's capable of it. It's a practice. Everybody's capable of it. Alright, we'll figure that out. We'll figure the post-stream thing out later. I know I can get music over here. So we'll just do that. I need to turn super chats on. I was actually looking at that last night. It's funny you mentioned that. I was learning a bit about super chats last night. I'm not exactly sure how super chats work. I mean, we can go. I was reading a little bit about it last night, but I'm not exactly still 110% sure how that works. Let's see, it's in here somewhere. It's in here somewhere. How do you get to... Okay, live. But how do you get to all that stuff? Settings. Okay, I might have found it. I don't know. Okay. I think I know how it works. Hold on. Sanchez, what's up, dude? Welcome, man. Got a question? What's up, bro? Hit me, hit me. I imagine I'm watching a cop series. That's great. I am setting up. I am in the process of setting up memberships. So if you want to be like a chat member or whatever, it's like a monthly reoccurring thing, and you get like different loyalty badges and stuff. It's basically just a way to flex in the chat if you want to do that. But I am setting that up. I'm not too familiar with it, so I'll probably make like an announcement or something when I get that going. What's up, Brian? What's good, dude? Welcome. Good to see these familiar faces. For years I haven't had a panic attack, many months anxiety free, and today I had a mini panic that lasted 45 minutes of work, couldn't shake it off, and had to reach for emergency med. So basically the whole, couldn't shake it off thing. We don't want to try to shake it off, right? You know what I mean? We don't want to come at it with an attitude of how can I shake it off. We want to come at it with an attitude of acceptance, right? And I'm not saying that you should be shameful or anything like that, because it caught you off guard a bit, which does happen. Which does happen, but with the attitude of acceptance, which you can pick up right now, which you can pick up starting right now. If you notice that you're adding second fear by saying, "Oh gosh, look at what happened today. Will that happen again?" That's second fear. You want to catch that. You want to catch that, and you want to change that to acceptance. You want to catch that, and you want to change that to acceptance. So after you had a little brush with panic today, right? Which a lot of people have a little brush with panic, even people that never experience sensitization. So you want to catch yourself even now, like even after it's happened. You want to catch yourself adding any kind of second fear, which does include, oh gosh, look at what happened today. What if this happens again in the future? You want to catch that, and you want to put a stop to that, and you want to change that to an accepting attitude, right? So, of course, the advice is going to stay the same. It's okay that it caught you a little bit off guard and you wasn't quite I'm trying to find a word for it. You added second fear in the moment. That's okay, right? But next time, if there even is a next time, don't try not to come at it with an attitude of how do I shake it off, right? Come at it with an attitude of whatever happens, happens. And now's a good time to self-reflect. Now is a good time to self-reflect. Think back to what happened. Did you keep an attitude of acceptance while you were going through it, or did it catch you off guard and you kind of stumbled back into second fear? Now's the time to self-reflect and to be completely honest with yourself, right? Moving forward, it's a good learning opportunity. Moving forward, let's try to continue to be honest with ourselves and catch that second fear, right? but I think about it so much that I catch myself being annoyed at saying it over and over. Any tips? It's okay. It feels like work. It feels like work at first. It feels like a lot of work at first, but understand that you're putting in that work because what's more annoying, putting in the work of acceptance or having to deal with second fear, like adding all that second fear, right? What's more annoying? But it should feel more natural for you over time because from what I know, you're fairly new to all this, so acceptance should start to feel more natural. It should start to feel like your go-to, right? Instead of your normal go-to is second fear, and it feels like work to change that up. Well, after a while, you'll build the habit of acceptance, and that'll feel like your natural go-to. Also, do I accept and allow the feelings and then kill the thought, or let the thought be there? The thoughts are there almost all day. The thoughts can be there, but you don't want to be fighting with them. That's the point. The thoughts can be there because they're there whether we like it or not, really, right? But the point is, and your only job is to catch whether or not you're adding second fear. So if you notice yourself starting to fight with those thoughts, you want to take a step back and change that to acceptance. Same kind goes for you, Sanchez, right? It's all about practicing adding as little second fear as possible, guys. Keeping that attitude of acceptance. That's your only job. That's your one goal. Sanchez! Sanchez! Almost got tongue-tied there. Thank you for the $20 tip, dude. That puts us 20 bucks away from our tip goal for tonight. If you would like to contribute towards our tip goal, it is right there on screen. We are 20 bucks away from the tip goal. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the questions also, guys. Sanchez, dude, like I said, bro, people have little brushes with panic. Even people that are never sensitized a day in their life, they have little brushes with panic, right? Like that happens. That's a part of being a human, you know? And but the only difference is you've kind of got these deep roots with it. You've got all these experiences that you're not too fond of related to panic. So you've got these deep roots with panic. So the only difference between you and Mary Kay down the street, who's never been sensitized and has a brush of panic here and there, is that you have these deep roots with it, and it might be a bit easier for you to fall back into second fear. But as long as you keep that objective in mind, you're good, whether you have a brush with this or a brush with that. So if there is a next time, you gotta, it's time for self-reflection. It's time to be honest with yourself. When that happened, was I adding second fear? You'll probably see that yes, you was, and that's okay. Nobody's perfect. You had a bad day, you were caught off guard, and you added second fear. Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world, but now it's time to self-reflect. When that happened, did I add second fear? Was I telling myself things like, oh gosh, this needs to go away. This is starting to freak me out. Why won't it go away? Were you doing that? Or were you using acceptance? Now, you don't have to answer that in chat, but you need to ask yourself that question, right? You need to ask yourself that question. It's time for some self-reflection. It's time to be completely honest, and we'll go from here. It's not the end of the world. It's no big deal. A little brush of panic does not have to lead to a big rabbit hole. So, no big deal. Not the end of the world. You're going to be fine. Forget about it. Forget about it. But it would be helpful probably if you did a little bit of self-reflection and asked yourself the question, was I using acceptance? You'll probably find that maybe no, you weren't, and that's okay. That's fine. Maybe you were asking yourself the question, how do I get rid of this thing, which we know is not acceptance, right? And it's okay. It's okay that you made that mistake. You're a human being. Right? But you're going to be fine. It's not a big deal. It's not going to, it doesn't lead to anything. You had a little brush of panic. Maybe you could have handled it a little bit better with some acceptance. So be it that you didn't, right? Who cares? You're human. It happens. It happens. Move forward from here. Be honest with yourself. Get right back on track. It's no big deal. It's no big deal, dude. Even the people that are the best in the world at what they do still have their bad days where they don't do as good as they normally do, right? And they don't handle their business as good as they normally handle it. That's part of being human. It's no big deal, Sanchez. You're good, dude. You just get right back on board. Just get right back on board. I'm not a bit worried about you. I'm not a bit worried about you because I know you got this. I know you got this. Look at my arm fat, dude. People think this is muscle. They're like, Wonder Bro looking swole. Nah, dude. Like maybe if I actually, But there's a lot of fat in here. There's a lot of fat in here, chat, is what this is. All right, let's go back and look again. So for the small amount of people that are in here right now, actually it's not too small of an amount. We've got still quite a few viewers to be an hour into this. For the people who are in here right now, just to kind of get your opinion, okay? Because I like to run things through you guys. Just to get your opinion, what would you guys think about a membership program? Not necessarily a program. Like it's just basically for bragging rights in the chat. You get like loyalty badges and stuff. So what would you guys think about that? Would anybody actually be interested in that? There's different tiers to it. It's like a 4-tier thing. You can like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. If you're familiar with Twitch, it's a very popular thing to do on Twitch. It's kind of like that. There's different tiers to it. You can get like tier 1 for $5 a month, and you become a tier 1 member. And basically you get like a unique badge that nobody else has unless they're a member. And there's different levels to it. So it's basically just a thing they offer on YouTube to support your favorite YouTubers each month. It's like a subscription. It's like a Netflix subscription, basically. $5 a month, you can get tier 1, right? Tier 2 is like $10 a month. Tier 3 is like 50. You know, it goes up, and you can choose whatever tier you want. And then each month, you know, it's like a Netflix subscription. You get loyalty badges. You get a flex in the chat a little bit, things like that. You get unique. I think you get unique emotes that you can use in chat, stuff like that. I don't know. I'd have to look into it, and if it's something that people would actually want, I'll set that up like tonight, and we'll see. And that's okay, Sanchez. You're human, dude. Even the people that are the best at what they do still make mistakes sometimes, right? It's not the end of the world. Doesn't mean anything. Let it go. Doesn't mean anything. So what? You added a little bit of second fear. You adopted the attitude of how do I get rid of this, right? Which is a lot of people's normal go-to, and it's okay that you did that, right? But just keep in mind for next time, if there even is a next time, instead of asking the question, how do I shake it off? Let's ask the question, how can I get into that attitude? Which how is just through dedication. Get into the attitude of I accept these thoughts and feelings, right? Oh man, my hat's a little tight. It's starting to give me a headache. Alright, so this is how this works, guys. This is how this works. So there's 4 tiers to this membership thing, and this is completely optional, by the way. There's 4 tiers to this. It's a monthly reoccurring thing. You can go with tier 1 member of the chat, and that's for $5. Tier 2 is 10, tier 3 is 24, and the maximum tier, which is tier 4, is 50. Now, you can go with whatever tier you want. You don't have to go with anything if you don't want to. But you can I can offer different perks for different tiers. So I would have to go through all this and set it all up tonight and see exactly what I can offer and what I can do for these tiers. But let's see while I've got you guys on here. Let's see what I can do with it. So tier 1. If you're tier 1, you get loyalty badges. Members get a special badge next to their username. Emoji optional, you can customize it later, okay? Okay, I'll do all the perks and stuff later. Okay, I got a good idea. So, I want your opinion, guys. I got a good idea on the perk levels. There's 4 perk levels, and you can name each one. So, I'm going to tell you guys my idea here in just a second. Okay, this should be cool. Super chat's a separate thing that I'll have to turn on. But let me test this real quick. Okay, guys. So here's how this is gonna work. The membership thing, completely optional. It just gives you bragging rights. It gives you custom emotes. It will, if I can get that set up. No promises on what these are gonna come with. I'll try to work something out. But you do get your own little customs badge or whatever in chat. It's bragging rights. So let's see. So there's 4 tiers. Tier 1 is $5 a month, and it's called Baby Bro. Okay, this is a good idea. Tier 2 is $10 a month, and it's called Little Bro, right? Okay, actually, hold on. Okay, it's called Little Bro. Tier 3 is $24 a month. It's called Big Bro, and Tier 4 is called Daddy Bro. Daddy Bro, and that's $49 a month. So let's see if I can get this activated, because I'm not really sure how this works. Not really sure how this works. Okay, it's something that they've got to review before it actually turns on. So they've got to review it before it actually goes through. It's something they got to review before we can actually use it. It's something that's got to be accepted by YouTube. So before I submit that for review, I'm going to actually take time to work on each perk level and offer interesting and different perks for each level before I submit that to YouTube. So it's not something we'll be able to do tonight or anything, but what is up? Members, you get a special bag next to your username you can customize later. Okay. Okay, so yeah, before I actually send that in review, I'll sit down and read over all that. So it's not something we're going to be able to do tonight, but that's something that might come. Something that might come. Okay, it says my super chat's enabled now. Do you guys see a new button that wasn't there before? Does anybody see a new button that wasn't there before in chat? Do you see a super chat button now? I'm trying to pull it up on my phone. I don't see a super chat. I'd probably have to start and stop the stream again. I don't see a super chat. Does anybody else see a super chat? You do see a super chat? I'm new to all this, guys. I'm new to all this. I've never worried about doing things like memberships or super chats or anything like that because I never had to before, but now that I've got to get that cash flow up just so I can survive, I'm gonna start offering things like super chat and memberships and stuff like that. So I'm new to all this. I don't know how any of this works. Never done it before. Never done it before. Some people can see the super chat, some people can't. I just turned it on. Basically what a super chat is, that's anytime you make a super chat, it highlights your message in the chat so everybody can see it. You stand out. It like puts a highlight on your message. Also, super chats are kept up, I think, on the top of the stream somewhere, like in the chat. And now a super chat will go to my AdSense account. It'll go to my AdSense account. I do see the super chat now. Yeah, if you close it and reopen it, you'll see the little $sign there, and you can send a super chat. So a super chat, they pin it. I think they pin it if it's a certain amount or something. I don't really know. They pin it for a certain amount of time on the top of the chat, which means everyone in the chat room will see your super chat for however long. And then of course it highlights your message in the chat. So super chats, they go to my AdSense account. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. There we go. I think it works. Sanchez says, "What a bro super chat." All right, let me test something. Thank you for that $5 super chat. Wow, that sounds weird to say. Let me test something, guys. I want to see where that went. I'm not familiar with this. Where does that go? Where does the super chat go? I don't know. I think it goes to my AdSense account. I think. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how this works. Okay. Because I'm really not, I don't know how to do this. How do you claim it? Super chats explain. During a live stream, viewers can purchase a message, aka a super chat, that is highlighted in the chat area. It helps the viewer to get attention that they would not get if their message just joined the others that are being sent. Okay. From this point, it will be assumed that your account is monetized. You have enabled super chat and have gone live several times, and that you now want to withdraw. What you need to know is that there's usually a 21 to 30 days delay before a claim is finalized and your super chat goes through AdSense. First, you need to confirm whether purchases were made and finalized. To see purchases, follow these steps. Click on the YouTube Studio. Okay. Cut the music for a second. I'm learning over here. I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that question right now, Mickey. I'm about to find out, I guess. I'm about to find out if this is something I want to do or not. There's that. Okay. Okay. Once you're done. Okay. Interesting. 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 Okay, for now, I'm gonna turn off Super Chat, and I'll tell you why. I'm gonna turn off Super Chat for now. The reason I'm turning off Super Chat for now, because I didn't know this until I just read about it, is that you have to hit a certain threshold before those Super Chats even go into your AdSense account, which can take 21 to 30 days before they go even into your AdSense account. Nada. And then AdSense, I assume, takes a fee out. Screw that. We'll just do what we've always done. That seems like a big hassle. Yeah, I think we're just going to leave super chats off for now. I think we're just going to leave that off for now. 21 to 31 days, and you have to meet a certain threshold. What if I like absolutely have some bills I need to pay right away, and I can't wait 21 to 30 days to meet that threshold? I don't know that. Nah, not a fan. Not a fan of how the super chats work, so we're gonna leave that off for now. We're gonna leave that off for now, chat. We're gonna leave that off for now because that seems like a long time to have to wait to get your super chats. Like, if super chats were something that came to you and you had access to them right away, that'd be different. But what if I'm like trying to meet a certain goal? I don't have 21, 30 days to wait for my super chats to come to me. And then everybody starts using super chats and forgets about the PayPal, and then that would be yikes. So forget super chat, super crap. There you go, more like it. Forget that, dude. That's a lot of runaround to try to get your money. Forget that. Forget that. We'll go directly through the PayPal. Hey, I still appreciate the $5 super chat, Sanchez, even though I won't see it for a very long time. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. The memberships things I can understand. Like, if you're gonna do like a membership thing, I can understand that being like a monthly thing, like a reoccurring monthly thing, like a Netflix subscription or whatever. I can understand that being like a monthly thing. But the super chats, having to wait around to hit a threshold and then 21, 30 days before you can get it, I feel like a super chat should be more like a direct thing, not something you have to wait on. I understand the membership thing being a monthly thing, but super chats being a monthly thing, I don't know. I feel like you just like hurt yourself if you do that. You know what I mean? I don't know. See, I'm new to all this. I've never, for me, I never needed any sort of extra income, like, so I never looked at things like memberships or super chats or anything like that. So I don't know how none of it works. I don't know how any of it works. Because that would be awful. Like, if people just started using the super chat instead of like the Cash App or the PayPal, that would mean I'd have to sit around and wait for it every month instead of being able to spend those funds on what I need. I do not want to leave super chat on. If people start going that route, then I'm really screwed. Wonder Bro, I have severe brain fog, and English is my second language, so it's very difficult for me to understand what you're saying. Just want to let you know, man. Understandable, Kevin. I try to be as simple as possible, but I do get that there is somewhat of a language barrier for some people. But I try to be as simple as possible. I try to be as simple as possible. Which, I mean, let's see. Let's see here. I'd love to be able to use the super chats, but it just doesn't seem reasonable. You got bills coming out different points of the month. I don't know about waiting 30 days every time before you can claim your super chats. It seems kind of stupid. Seems kind of stupid if you ask me. To be honest, I don't know what I'm doing, chats. Let's see. so you can go here. I like when you're using like a step-by-step tutorial and they don't actually tell you. They don't tell you anything. Ooh, I bet I have to go here. It's getting a little stuffy in here, guys, so you might hear my AC kick on. I'm gonna need that for a minute. I'm gonna need that for a minute. Let's see, is there cool little things that I can do in here? Is there cool little things I can do in here? Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about, Cinches. Like, the memberships thing would be cool. Like, that would be cool to do eventually. Hey, what's up, Pooty? What's up, dude? It's good to see you. Man, just had to scare my buddy that was in our party chat on Xbox and got quit, and when like 2 minutes later we heard EMTs working on him to wake him up. Scary, didn't help the anxiety either. And you know, that's life, man. Things do happen. Unfortunate things do happen. Keep in mind, though, as you're experiencing these unfortunate things that, you know, come and go from time to time, it's all about keeping your cool in those moments. You don't want to work yourself up with that second fear. Understandable. That would shake anybody up, though. I get it. That would shake anybody up, but always remember that you can keep that second fear to a minimum. So you can always keep that. You can always keep that second fear to a minimum. So that's what it's all about. I mean, unfortunate things do happen. You know, bad things happen to good people. I mean, it happens. It happens. But keeping that second fear to a minimum is what it's all about. It's what it'll always be about. That is crazy, though. Is it somebody you know personally or somebody you're just friends with, like online? Super worried about him. He was in Vegas with me. I saw him this morning. Oh, so it's somebody you know personally. Okay. Yeah, that would shake anybody up, dude. Had a traffic practice day, feeling myself sometimes a boom, anxiety up to the roof, funny sensations. It happens, man. Hey, practice days, though, that's where it's at. Practice days is what, you know, a lot of people do dread the practice days. They dread those days where, you know, the anxiety symptoms are high, and it's easy to fall into that attitude of I don't want this, right? Like, that's pretty much the core belief behind second fear, and it's really easy to fall into that attitude, especially on practice days. Really, really, really easy to fall into that attitude, but that's why they're called practice days, and that's why we use the term practice so often. That's why we use the term practice so often. Well, hopefully you'll get an update on them soon, Elliot. Does anybody know what was wrong with him? I have like some past medical issues or something. Now I understand the meaning. You have to feel it to heal it, except it's not funny, but definitely it's the key. Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of people, they go into it with that attitude, which is easy to do. It's easy to go into with the attitude of I don't want to feel it. I mean, that's kind of what puts you in the anxiety boat to begin with, right? Is that attitude. So, it's understandable that that's people's most dominant attitude when they first come into acceptance, but over time with enough practice you start to break that attitude and you switch into an attitude of acceptance, which takes consistency. It takes work. So, just because you had a practice day, a retraining day, that's a good thing. We don't want to look at it as a bad thing. We don't want to look at it as a bad thing. Hey, what's up, Abraham? Welcome, dude. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. That's the thing about anxiety. Like, even though, there are certain things that'll shake you up or whatever, like certain real life things, it doesn't need to go overboard. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't need to get to the point where you're adding a ton of second fear. So it's like, even though there's real life things that happen that shake us up a bit, we still should be aware of second fear always. Always. Always, always, always. Even in real situations that would obviously shake anybody up. We still need to be aware of the second fear that we may or may not be adding. Because I mean, there is a lot of situations where you know we run into things in life that do shake us up a bit, but that doesn't mean that we can't be on top of our second fear, right? We can always stay on top of our second fear, even if it is a real life situation. So that's important to remember, because life does happen from time to time. Hey, continue to work on the attitude change fee. I understand that it doesn't necessarily happen overnight. I get that completely. Continue to work on it, though. You know the objective. You know the objective, so now you just got to continue working on the objective. Oh, let's see here, guys. As long as you keep that objective in mind. Oh, you're good, Elliot, dude. Don't apologize, man. Don't apologize. Don't apologize. I am eating a beef jerky stick, and that shit's good. That's just real good. You can probably hear me chewing. Mickey's back. What's up, Mickey? News websites do it better than you. Facts. Big facts. Bro, nobody ever has to apologize for being quote unquote negative in the chat. Like, this is a place for everybody to vent, ask questions, talk about their lives, even if that's quote unquote negative. You know, that's what we're all here for, is to be able to communicate with one another. And sometimes it's not always about happy subjects. It's not always about happy subjects, right? Sometimes negativity does happen. Sometimes bad things do happen, and sometimes we need to vent it to the community here, and that's okay. When you move, if that's okay with you, you can give us a house tour or apartment tour. I'll do that. I'll do that. Remind me if that's something you guys want to see. We can do something like that, maybe. That could be fun. I did fee, and I do have some videos on it, but I mean, you can watch those if you want, but they're pretty much going to tell you the same thing I'm telling you now. I mean, but that's kind of the point, you know. That's kind of the point, is to keep the everything consistent. So it's like I've got videos on pretty much every topic that you can imagine if you look hard enough on my channel, but they're all going to come back to the same things that I talk about in today's streams, really. It's always going to come back to adding as little second fear as possible, trying to find a new accepting perspective rather than adding that second fear. That's always going to be your main objective. That's always what it's going to come back to. I try to always make it as simple and straightforward as possible. So, you can go back like 3 years on my channel and find topics that we talk about today, and you'll notice that although maybe my demeanor has changed or the way that I word things may have changed a bit, it's always going to come back to the same advice at the end of the day. So just continue working on that attitude. Continue cutting out that second fear. I know some symptoms can shake you up more than others. I know some symptoms can be a bit more unnerving than others, and I get that. I get that we go through varying challenges on the journey, but at the same time, keep in mind it always is going to come back to that one objective, that one very clear objective. And that's adding as little second fear as possible, regardless of the way that you feel, regardless of the thoughts that come and go. It's always going to come back to that one very clear objective. And that's been my personal objective with this channel, is to make your objective very, very clear. That way there's no room for confusion. Some people say DPDR is not a physical symptom. I kind of disagree. I mean, isn't it all a physical symptom at the end of the day? Whether we're talking about, weird, funny brain tricks or whatever we're talking about, isn't at the end of the day, it's all just really a symptom. My worst buying decision? I don't know. I've never really made any huge investments or anything like that that turned out to be a bad idea. I've never really um, bought anything that it was like a huge investment or anything. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not really sure. Let's see. Did we get anybody new over on the Discord yet? Not quite yet. Let's drop another link to that. Let's see. Well, living life has many different examples, Kevin. It's not that you have to pack your day full of things. It's this, that if anxiety tells you to stay in bed, you need to live life for you, you know? You don't want to bow down to anxiety. You don't want to do what anxiety tells you all the time, because who wants to do that? There's things that you want to do in life. So the reason why living life is one of the two main keys is it helps you feel better about yourself, and it helps show your brain that there's not a real tiger in the room, right? So that's why that's one of the two main keys. Spent $900 on a Pokemon Chilling Rain booster boxes and didn't really pull anything good. Oof, that's a hit. That's a hit to take. That's a pretty big hit to take, isn't it? That's a pretty big hit to take, dude. I don't know. I can't really say that I've made any investments like that turned out to be like bad idea. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I have at some point, but I can't remember. concept of first, second fear. What is a bit confusing is the fact that people talk about exposing ourselves gradually. So if there's nothing to fear, then why gradually? Why gradually? Because some people, let's face it, at the end of the day, some people just they can't handle as much as others. They're working on that, not adding second fear, but maybe if they have too much to confront at once on their plate, maybe they'll just fall right back into bad second fear. So really, it comes down to the individual. Some people go gradually because it makes it a bit easier for them, and they still have a very strong bad habit of second fear that they're working on. So some people prefer to go more gradually, and that's okay as long as you're working on that habit of second fear. But that's why some people go more gradually than others, just because at the end of the day, some people prefer it because they don't believe in themselves enough to go at it all at once right away, and that's okay. That's okay as long as they're working on that habit of second fear. As long as they're working on it. As long as they're working on it in the end and putting somewhat of an effort forward, right? I mean, at the end of the day, there isn't anything to fear as far as anxiety is concerned. There isn't anything life-threatening to fear. But so you're right about that. But it's just some people prefer gradually. And Pokemon YouTubers got me thinking about spending my whole life savings on some. Hey, it can be addicting pulling cards. It's kind of like gambling in a way. I mean, it really is. They get you, dude. It's addicting. I've never done it, but I can understand the appeal. I can understand why people would easily get sucked into that. Like, I can understand it. I can get it. I've watched a few of those streams. I find them interesting, even though I'm not really into it myself. I find it interesting to watch other people do it. Damn Vegas. I understand it, dude. I can understand why people would get hooked on it easy. It's always like, if I just take that chance, if I just take that chance, it might pay off. It normally doesn't, but that's the whole that's the hook. That's the hook. I thought about Bitcoin and all that. I considered it there for a while. I don't know though. What's up, fun? How you deal with anger? I try to view it as any other emotion. An emotion is an emotion, and if we feel it, we heal it. We allow it to burn itself up. So I don't know if you ever watched my stream on the fire analogy, but I would consider it the same concept. So whether we're talking about an anger thing, or whether we're talking about sadness or anxiety, we got to feel it, right? Because it's already there. So resistance is futile. But if we can take a step back and see the emotion and feel the emotion rather than become the emotion, that is key. So becoming the emotion to me means to add second fear or to fight it, right? To feel the emotion means to see it for what it is and allow it to burn itself up with as little resistance as possible. So I would say that the same exact concept applies to any emotion, especially any negative emotion. So we can feel it and allow it to burn itself up, or we can become it, which means to fight it, resist it, yada yada yada. So I would definitely say that the same concept that we talk about here would apply to any negative emotion, and that would include anger. I was thinking about that last night, Sanchez. I was thinking about the P.O. Box thing last night. I was going through a bunch of different things in my head, trying to get it all worked out, and that crossed my mind. So that's something we're probably going to open up now that we're going to be moving here soon. It's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking about that just last night, actually. Just breaking even, right? Yeah, there's a lot of little things like that I'd like to eventually do, Sanchez. Well, as long as your mental attitude is not a whole bunch of mental dialogue, of conscious choice that you don't want to feel this, blah blah blah, anything that's kind of resistant in nature. As long as you're cutting back on that, you're doing good. As long as you're cutting back on how often you do that, you're doing good. Because that is to reduce second fear, right? So, don't overcomplicate it for yourself. Just keep that in mind that that's your only objective. Well, that's okay, fun. It's not about not feeling it. So, when you say when you realize it, by the time you realize it, it's already happening, and that's fine. You got to feel it to heal it. So it's not the question about how do we avoid it, how do we not make it happen. It comes on, okay, there it is. Whether or not we take a step back and feel it to heal it rather than resistant, that is our next choice. That is our choice. So it's not really a question about how do I avoid it from happening. It's a question of how do I respond to it when it happens, with acceptance or becoming, right? Becoming and fighting and resisting. I think you're on the right track, Elliot. Also, be self-aware of how you talk to yourself. Like, if you were to go around all day talking about how crappy you feel, probably not a good idea. Probably not a good idea. I could see how that would be a slippery slope. So I would try to work on that too a little bit. It's all about that attitude. It's all about that attitude. All right, let's see here. Oh. I agree, Elliot. It's just a little habit to work on. You know, it's just a little habit to work on. At the end of the day, that's what all these things come down to. Whether or not we're talking about like second fear with anxiety or, it's all a habit basically. It feels like so much more than a habit. Like I get that. It feels like so much more than just a habit, but really that's all these things are. They're habits. Whether it's putting yourself down, whether it's a ton of second fear as far as anxiety is concerned, these things at the end of the day, they feel like so much more than what they really are, but at the end of the day, they are just habits. I'm not sure why this sudden wave of tired has hit me all of a sudden. Oh, I feel like I could totally take a nap right now, but I just slept like 8 hours, so. But I feel like I could definitely do a nap. Wake me up, chat. Wake me up. It's a practice, Cassie. Nobody can do it for you, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't feel like doing this, but as you continue practicing the accepting attitude, it'll become more natural because we just started talking recently in the chat just now, actually, about how it is a habit. It is a habit. So although it feels very tough, I mean, essentially you are breaking a very bad habit, so that doesn't exactly happen overnight. Don't get too down on yourself about that. Emotions being all over the place is completely normal. I mean, you got to think you're going through a lot of rapid changes very quickly. What's for dinner? I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I haven't decided. You got any suggestions for me? Any suggestions for me, Sanchez? Beef stick coma. Pretty much, dude. That's what it feels like. That is what it feels like, Elliot. I'm sure I'll brush it off in a minute. I'm sure I'll brush it off in a minute. Chinese food. That would be good if it wasn't so late already. We don't have any Chinese food places around that would be open. And that shit is like super expensive. I'm not a complicated person when it comes to food. Like, I'm picky, but I'm not. It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. Does that make sense, chat? I'm a picky eater, but I'm not a picky eater. It's almost midnight for me. We're about a half hour from midnight. Everything is pretty much closed. PB&J, you can't go wrong with a PB&J. My cat passed away a week ago today. I'm sorry about that, Joyce. It has aggravated the anxiety, but not as bad as it used to be, still progressing. So, obviously, there's some progress being made because even though you're going through a tough life situation, you know how to handle it and you know not to add that second fear. So, obviously, there's some very noticeable changes being made to your attitude and the way that you go about things. So, you should be proud of yourself for sure. Do you cook? Not really. Not really. No, I'm not the best cook. I'm not the best cook. So, not really. Not really. Grilled cheese? I do love grilled cheese. It's probably one of my favorite quick meals. I do love a good grilled cheese. Not gonna lie. I love anything with cheese. I'm a cheese fan. Specs of my PC, i5, 580, 16 gig RAM. That's all the important specs really. It's kind of, it needs an update. It needs an update. Super chats. We decided to leave super chats off for now because the way they work is just kind of stupid. GPU 580. Yeah, the way super chats work are kind of stupid. You have to hit a certain threshold and then you have to wait like a month. So I'd rather just do it my way. Chicken parmesan from Olive Garden. From Olive Garden, I don't think so. That sounds really good. Ramen and egg laying around. Cook the ramen super hot, then toss the egg in there and stir it up while it's nice and hot. You know, I know a lot of people are a fan of ramen, but I've never really been a fan. I've just never really been a fan of ramen. I don't know. I don't know why. I know it's like super popular, but me see here. I'm burpy chap. I know how to make it too. I have to come over to your house for dinner. The GPU's a 580. 580. I still catch myself looking for answers with it. Yeah, that's a common one. Always looking for that magic phrase that's just gonna do all the work for you, right? That's a common one, dude. I think everyone's been there. I think everyone's been there. As far as BoJack Horseman, I've never really watched it. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never like actually sat down and watched it. Cook a lot and bake a lot. I would invite you, your homie. Yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on it because I've never actually sat down and watched it all the way through. I feel like there's some comments I missed while I was on post stream. There's not a whole lot of Netflix series that I've actually watched. But I do prefer series over like movies. Like any day. Okay, hold on a second, guys. I'll be right back. All right. All right, beautiful people, I have returned. What's up, John? You a part of the heat wave, bro? $111, dude? Screw that. Texas. Y'all have to be struggling right now. Y'all have to be struggling. Was it 111 in Cali? Oh, that's insane. It's like 65 here right now and raining. That's insane, dude. Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. No thanks. I'd rather be froze any day than too hot, personally. Like I can, you know, if you're freezing cold, you can always put more layers on, right? Like if you're freezing cold, you can always put more layers on, but you can only take so much off when you're burning up. So that's the way I've always looked at it. You can always put more on, you can only take so much off. Hey, Nightbot coming through with the good advice for you, John. Nightbot coming through with the acceptance. There you go, Nightbot. There you go. Man, I don't know where that exhaustion came from, like out of nowhere, but that hit me pretty dang hard, and I'm recovering from it now. But just a total wave of exhaustion. I don't know what happened there for a second. I honestly thought I was about to fall asleep. That was intense. That was some intense exhaustion, guys. Damn. Damn. I think we okay now. That was intense. Oh yeah, I was feeling peaceful, dude. I was like on a cloud somewhere. Like I'm still pretty slumped over, to be honest with you guys. Oh, I always forget to turn the headset down. Mickey, Mickey, thank you so much for the $10 tip. I appreciate it. I'm over here like just trying to keep my eyes open, and people still find that worthy of sending a tip. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you. That puts us at $10 away from our tip goal for tonight. Thank you so much, Mickey. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I know I'm not being the most entertaining right now. I know I'm not being the most entertaining right now. Man, I think just the high emotions and everything as of late is catching up to me all of a sudden here, and I'm just on a cloud somewhere at the moment. I don't know when I'm coming down, guys, but Mickey still thought it was appropriate to send me a $10 tip even though I'm like barely conscious over here. So, huge shout out to Mickey for that, man. Huge shout out. I'm not being the best host at the moment, I know. I know. Never met you in real life, but I like just chilling here sometimes. I mean, it's nice, dude. That's like my favorite part of the streams. We do like the point of the stream, and then the rest of the time we can just hang out and chill and chat about whatever, not just anxiety. And I like that. I like that a lot. So it works out. And that's why I love doing streams. Um, it's nice. I'm glad you guys enjoy just hanging out sometimes. I'm gonna try and eat some dinner. I have no appetite. This should be fun. Chewing on cotton balls. Hey, dude, you gotta eat, right? These streams are also perfect for loners like me. I'm glad you guys enjoy just hanging out. I try to keep that high energy, but sometimes I just can't do it. I'm just in here hanging out with you guys like I would hang out with anybody. So, I'm glad you guys enjoy it too. I mean, it's more than just you guys in chat right now that enjoy it, obviously, because we've got a good handful of people watching right now. They're not chatting, but obviously they like just being in the company, you know what I mean? Which is fine. Which is fine. But don't be shy. Join the chat. Don't be shy. You ain't gotta be shy. I'm glad you like it here, Elliot. Like I said, that's one of my favorite parts of streaming because we can do our business, we can talk business, we can talk all about the anxiety junk, and then after that's all over, we can all just hang out and chill. So it's probably my favorite part about doing streams as compared to videos. With videos, you don't really get to hang out or talk to each other or anything like that. So I definitely prefer streaming. And that's probably the biggest reason why. I might have to take a nap though at some point. To be completely fair and honest with you guys, I might have to take a nap at some point. It's the rain. It's got to be the rain, dude, right? Like, that explains my sudden exhaustion. It's got to be the rain. Rain puts me. I mean, I can't even hear it. I just know. It's like subconsciously, I just know that it's pouring the rain outside right now, and I think it's doing something to me. I don't know. I can't explain it. Mickey kind of jump scared me there with the tip. Got me awake a little bit. I forgot to turn my headset down again. We're in this together. Absolutely, Elliot. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I agree with you, Elliot. There needs to be more mental health resources in the world, but at the same time, you're not going to find cooler people than the people that are here, right? Like there does need to be better mental health resources out there, but you're not going to find cool people like you find here. I agree with you, John. Is it raining over there? It is. It is pouring the rain. It's pouring the rain earlier. According to my PC, it is still raining. The new Windows update now gives you the weather in your toolbar. How nifty and convenient. But according to that, it is still raining out there. So I think somewhere in my brain, I know that, and it makes me tired. Or maybe it's just the long week I've had is catching up to me. I don't know. It just hit me all of a sudden, dude. It came out of nowhere. I was just streaming, and all of a sudden I'm like struggling to keep my eyes open. Hey, so without revealing too much of anything, I have been working on a list that I've got together of different and unique things that we can do on the channel and the Discord. So if you want to join us over there, but I've been coming up with different unique things that we can do to spice things up around here. I was thinking about a community night on Discord where maybe we all join into a voice chat and watch a movie or something. So I've been thinking about like a movie night thing on Discord, little things like that. Little things like that. I've been thinking about new ways to spice things up over here on the live streams. Maybe have special certain days where we do special types of streams. I don't know. I've been tossing ideas around in my head, so just throwing that out there. Nothing's concrete yet. Nothing's decided on, but you know, as we move forward with the channel and as we continue to grow, I'm trying to come up with new and exciting ways to do things with you guys and really just build this community. So I want to give you guys, I want to give you guys quality. I want to give you guys new things, exciting things, fun things. Because this isn't just anxiety based bullshit all the time, you know? There needs to be a community, and there is a community, but there needs to be, you know, there needs to be other things done here that just, that are fun and enjoyable for everybody. So nothing's concrete yet, but I'm working on some new ideas, and we'll see what happens with it. We'll see what happens with it. People do the voice chat every now and then if they can get a group of people together. It's mostly they just use the chat, but if they can get a group of people together that want to do the voice chat, they'll do voice chat every now and then. Sometimes they can get it worked out like that, but for the most part, it is just the chat. If we had like a community night set up for that, I'm sure we could get plenty of people in the voice chat. Like if we had something organized, like a community night or whatever, I'm sure we could get plenty of people to join the voice chat. But that's the thing, like people don't just come in and hang out in voice chat. It actually has to have some, there has to be something going on for people to want to use the voice chat. Yeah, I mean, I warn people against using the Discord as a coping method, and if I see it happening, I call it out. Like I try to call people out, just because tough love, man, tough love. Try to keep people from doing that. But honestly, for the most part, there's been plenty of days where I check on the Discord and people are just hanging out in the other channels. Like, there's all sorts of channels we got over there for all things that are not anxiety related. We've got like pet pics and book chat, sports chat, music chat. We got all these different channels. Um, Movie chat, game chat. There's places where people can share selfies and um, share pictures of their hobbies, their pets, and their tattoos, and there's just all kinds of stuff over on the Discord. So it's not all anxiety related because you guys are humans. You're humans at the end of the day. You're not. Your whole life does not have to revolve around anxiety. So when I made the Discord, it was for support, yeah, and it's support that's based in acceptance, right? So that people don't have to join these fucking ridiculous fear-mongering forums and chat bullshit elsewhere. They can join the Discord where it's all about acceptance, but at the same time, it's about making friends too. It's about having a good time. It's like, so when I made the Discord, I got it covered. I kept in mind that this is not going to be something that people are going to use like a forum. So there's plenty to do on the Discord that's not anxiety related. Um, I think they've even, somebody mentioned Minecraft. John mentioned Minecraft. They've even got a Minecraft server. I believe it's still up. I don't know. You'd have to ask them. But I believe there's a Minecraft server still up in the gaming chat portion of the Discord. There is a Minecraft server that's currently running for people of this YouTube channel. Don't feel that human. Hey, that's what living life's all about. It's going to help you feel that. But you got to accept the way you currently feel, no second fear, and live that life. How do you join? You just download the app. It's called Discord. You can search it up on the App Store. Few steps you got to go through. Got to make an account and verify and all that good stuff. But once you get in there, if you do decide to join Mickey, toss me a message on there or something. Let me know it's you so I can give you that trusted member role. You got to have the trusted member role in order to post media like selfies and whatnot. But since you've been here for a very long time, obviously you would get that role immediately. It's just set up like that to help avoid trolls. But you've been a part of the channel for a long time, so you would get that role almost immediately. There's different roles you can get in there. Most of them are just for bragging rights and stuff like that. But if it's your first time using Discord, you might have to play around with it for a bit to figure it all out. Might have to play around with it for a bit. Alright guys, we're about 2.5 hours into this thing, so I am going to go ahead and end it here. My exhaustion does not seem to be going away, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I might catch a nap while it's raining outside. That would be a nice, very peaceful nap. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all you do. Thank you for being so understanding. Thank you for almost 10K subs, and just thank you for everything. It's been an interesting journey, and hopefully we only go up from here. I know we'll only go up from here, and we'll only continue to grow. I'm happy to have you guys with me along on this journey. And again, I don't know what I would do without you. I really don't. Don't know what I would do without you guys. So yeah, I will see you guys, I'm sure, very soon. Probably on the Discord. But until next time, guys, thanks for everything. I love you. Stay awesome.